Hi everyone, I'm back. I had a break because I had too much to do. And I didn't have enough time to get a video on, but I'm back with a test all about this, the Mondraker Crusher RR. And yes, I have hurt my hand, but you know, whatever. A Enduro electric mountain bike with 160 mils of travel on the front, 160 on the back. This one comes equipped with the Öhlins suspension, the RXF 38 on the front and a TTX on the rear, an air shock. This is a fantastic build. We've also got some D-Max wheels on there from Mavic, which are really good. Shimano drivetrain, which we'll talk about in a minute. XT Shimano brakes, hydraulic seat post and a physics saddle. Nothing to do with the t-shirt I'm wearing, just happened to pull this one out of the cupboard. The retail price of this is €9,499, and there is a version which starts at €699. So this is the high-end version. So the low-end version is also a great bike, a great build. What's obviously the most important thing about Mondraker, what they've been trading on ever since Fabian Borel was riding with them back in the day, so 10, 15 years ago, was their forward geometry, which basically means an extended cockpit with an extended top tube relative to other parts of the bike. And this gives you great stability at speed downhill and also allows you to put your body weight further forward and more centered over the front wheel. Obviously use that in combination with a very short stem here. We've got a 30mm stem, or 35mm stem. It's all about control, speed, body position. This bike, they've thought of all of that, and they've got what I would call a very capable bike. Motor-wise, it's got the Shimano EP801, and it's also got on it a 720 watt-hour battery. It's got the free shift system on it. Now, what does that mean? Well, very simple. You don't need to pedal to change gear. You have to be moving, but you don't need to pedal. So as long as you're moving and the system can feel your pressure on the pedals, it will shift on its own according to the settings that you make in the app on the computer. Now, I've been playing with this, I've been using it a lot, and it's basically a form of auto shift. Now, the most useful feature I've discovered with the free shift, and I would say this applies to pretty much all auto shift systems at the moment, is the ability to pre-select your gear when you're not pedaling on a trail, either up or downhill, therefore not disturbing your balance or movement or flow in that moment by having to do a few pedal strokes, shifting the bike into that gear, and then as soon as you need to pedal, boom, you're in the right gear. Right, so how does this thing ride? It feels like an enduro bike. It's not an extreme enduro bike, and in fact Mondraker have another bike in their lineup to meet those conditions, but this is their enduro all mountain edition, let's call it. Aim at this is the vast majority of riders that want to spend all day in the saddle. With a 720 watt-hour battery, you can do that actually. Being able to pedal for 3-4 hours without any trouble, 1,800 meters, no trouble. And for me, in my experience, this EP801 has more sustained power, more of a oomph than I would have in the Bosch Performance CX motor. So uphill, this bike is quite smooth actually. You feel that you've got a good body position, the seat tube angle is in the right place, you can ride up the hill quite comfortably, quite smoothly in a nice setup. You can feel the bike does what you want. The front doesn't lift, the traction is good, the rear chain stays long enough to give you the traction that you need when you're on very steep climbs. Also using the free shift or auto shift function is quite useful. You can hit that shift button and it can put you in another gear ready to keep going up the hill. That's very interesting, and I find that free shift system very, very cool for those factors. This brings us to the descending. Descending capability of this bike is absolutely fantastic. Now, I wouldn't say it is the most extreme descender on the market. If the most extreme descender is a 10, not a downhill bike, but an enduro bike, this would be a 9.5 or a 9. So it's a very, very good bike for going downhill. At the same time, it feels very comfortable for all. It's a little bit more refined. Cornering on this feels very good, very smooth, very neutral, very balanced, nothing extreme. It feels like you've got a good balance with your body position between entering into the corner at speed and exiting with a few pedal strokes maybe. So the bike feels like it sits in that sort of control category very, very well. This version, the bar is carbon, which I absolutely love carbon bars. I don't know if you know that, but fundamentally they remove the sting out of the ride, which is absolutely brilliant and gives you a much smoother ride. I thought I'd move for the conclusion to the top of the hill. You can see all the mountains around where we get to test ride, pretty amazing. Fundamentally, at that price range, can you feel the difference with all those components? And I would say yes, you can. It's a high-end bike. It does feel absolutely great. It has got a carbon front triangle and an aluminium rear triangle. It's very sleek design, as you can see. Everything is super well integrated, very smooth looking. The derailleur system is the Dior XT, and this is the electric shifting, and it's wired, so it's not wireless, so it works pretty precisely. We've got the shifter here on the bar, which is a push button system that mimics the normal shifter. This is actually a fantastically good ergonomic electronic shifter, probably my favorite on the market. The remote for Shimano has been improved massively. It's really resistant, robust remote, one of the best I've seen so far. We've also got the power control buttons and the access to the profiles. Overall, the electrics with 85 Newton meters of torque and a 720 watt hour battery means this motor really is at the top end of performance. Something even more refined, you're going to have to, the next step up from this is a race motor, which is kind of maybe not necessary for a lot of people, but you will be needing more money. I think this bike has pretty much what I would call some of the highest end performance for this kind of segment on the market. Competing models against this would be a Canyon Spectral On. This favors very well against that. Very hard to split the difference between those two bikes. The Erlen suspension is fantastic. I think that it is very smooth. The only thing that means you have to spend a little bit more time setting it up. It has so many settings on it that at the end of the day, it's kind of for the experts, but basically an expert rider will be buying this bike. And then you're going down, you can't take a pedal stroke, you don't want to upset the flow, but you want to shift, so you go boom 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 on the shifter and it goes boom and it puts you in the right gear. I love this. It's called Coast Shift. I actually absolutely love it. I like the riding position. There's a lot of space on the top tube. I like bikes where you have a lot of space. This is a 29-29 setup. Honestly, the fact that this is not a mallet, you don't really notice. And this is the kind of bike that makes you question the mallet setup. Probably gives you that slightly smoother rolling feel than a mallet would. Final point is, would I buy this bike? Yes, I would. It's a great bike. Definitely worth considering if you're in the lookout for an enduro or mountain bike. What's more encouraging is the lower end bikes have the same geometry, and I'd be expecting a similar performance. Where this one gains is the fact it's got the high-end suspension and the auto shift, free shift feature. Hopefully that's covered most of the points. If you've got any questions or you want any more information, don't forget to write a comment below. Don't forget to give this video a like and to subscribe, and we will see you on the next video. Bye.